In today's video, I want to take a look at some interesting comments about Final Fantasy 16 coming from the producer Yoshida. Want to talk about this because he's actually touting that the game is going to have something that was sorely missing from Final Fantasy 15, and that was a top-notch story. We'll look at that, and I know it could be just promoter speak, but I have a lot of faith in him, and I'll explain why in just a second. And as far as PlayStation 4 saves to PlayStation 5, it's not going to be a done deal across the board with every game. However, it is going to be a developer decision. We'll take a look at what they said in just a little bit. Naoki Yoshida is the producer of the upcoming Final Fantasy 16, and boy oh boy am I excited for that. Right away when I saw that game, I saw a little bit of Yoshida's influence, and that makes me very excited. Some of my friends actually hit me up when that trailer aired, and they were like, damn, this actually looks like a far cry from Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 13, and more akin to something like Final Fantasy 14. They obviously did not play Final Fantasy 14, so that was a little bit jarring to them, but you know, Final Fantasy has escaped that high fantasy setting a couple times, Final Fantasy 12 for example, so this isn't something that's completely revolutionizing anything. And I really like the look of the game. The gameplay looks stylish, it looks sleek. However, for me, the strength of a Final Fantasy game comes from the narrative, and unfortunately, Final Fantasy 15 to me had a lackluster narrative, just a little bit disjointed and all over the place. I never really got invested into the characters, and I won't go into spoilers since I'm sure there are a couple people that still do want to play the game. But let me just say that I feel like in Final Fantasy 15, they did these dramatic moments and, you know, insane things. However, I didn't feel invested into the characters, so when they did said insane things, I just didn't really care. They never had quality character development to make me really invested into the cast and the characters, not only the main four party characters, however, the entire story. Obviously, that was rectified a little bit with the DLC content. However, you're talking about somebody that played the game actually a little bit prior to the release of the game, so yeah, I wasn't privy to play the DLC content right off the bat, like you would now if you did get the Royal Edition. Enough rambling about that. In Weekly Famitsu magazine, via the producer of the game, Naoki Yoshida, he shared a comment regarding the status of the project, noting, "I'm Yoshida, the producer of Final Fantasy 16. We started off this project with a small team, but we're able to gradually gather more talent for this new game. I'm sure you've all seen the trailer. How did you like the cutscenes and battle sequences, which were all captured in real time? The real game will be even better in quality, and we plan to deliver a top-notch gaming experience and story. We have a cohesive development team that is currently advancing towards the completion of the game. The next major announcement will come in 2021, so until then, please imagine all sorts of scenarios while you wait. Please also pay attention to both Final Fantasy 14 as well as the new Final Fantasy 16 game. I'll do my best on both games." It's interesting, they keep touting this 2021 announcement. I've seen that reiterated a few times. Does that mean the game is going to see an announcement in 2021 and then be released in 2021? Look, I don't want to get my hopes up with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7 Remake got a pretty nice trailer at the end of 2015, and you guys know when that game came out. It came earlier this year, so at this point, I'm just like, you know, all bets are off the table. I don't want to get too excited because I already see the comment sections. I see people being like, oh, I'm excited to play this game, probably on the PlayStation 6 in 2029. And yeah, sometimes that happens with Final Fantasy. But I really hope in this specific scenario, that is not going to be one of those instances. I give Yoshida a lot of faith in delivering not only a quality gameplay experience, like we saw in the trailer. However, you know, you can mask a gameplay experience through a well-pieced together trailer, but really, what I want is a quality narrative. After the disjointed narrative in Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 13, honestly, I thought the first game had a solid story, then it just completely got off the rails with 13.2 and 13.3. Then it'd be nice to go back to a Final Fantasy game with a strong storytelling foundation. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, I was super invested into that game, don't get me wrong. We'll see how subsequent parts take them, because now is where the real fun begins, where they are diverging a little bit quote-unquote, from the main storyline, so we'll see how that goes. But with FF16, I really do think Yoshida's going to deliver something that does have a strong story. Okay, moving on from that, want to quickly mention that Sony has said that transferring PS4 saves to the PS5 version of the same game is down to individual developers, meaning that ability to do so will vary title by title. It's interesting because Insomniac recently confirmed that Spider-Man Miles Morales will be transferable from PS4 to PS5 in the sense that saves are going to be transferable. However, cross-generational saves won't be supported between the PS4 version of Marvel Spider-Man and its PS5 remaster. Yakuza Like a Dragon saves also won't be transferable between PS4 and PS5, nor will Dirt 5 saves. Please note that the ability to transfer game saves between a PS4 version and a PS5 version of the same game is a developer decision and will vary title by title for cross-generational games, Sony said in a PlayStation blog post. It also confirmed that Sackboy: A Big Adventure will introduce game saves transfers from PS4 to PS5 via a post-launch update. So really, how this is going to shake out is going to be specific from game to game, so it's not going to be an all white and black scenario that we can say, okay, all of these games are going to have, cross-generational save support, or all of these games won't have cross-generational save support. Unfortunately, it's going to be one where you do have to look up each individual game if you're one of those people that aren't getting a PlayStation 5 at launch and you're getting, a game like Miles Morales. Okay, you can transfer saves there, but do you want to play Marvel Spider-Man Definitive Edition? Okay, your save won't be transferable in that instance, so that's a little bit of a bummer. Nevertheless, I don't think this is the worst issue in the world. I'm just happy that we're going to have the majority of the games backwards compatible, with Sony's vagueness a little bit early on about backwards compatibility. I was always sure that we weren't going to get PS3 backwards compatibility. I thought that was a little bit of a pipe dream, to be honest, but PS4 backwards compatibility being there is nice, and hopefully for future generations we can have backwards compatibility across the board. But that's going to conclude this video. Again, Yoshida noted that Final Fantasy 16 is going to deliver a top-notch story. At least that's what the team is hoping for, and Sony says transferring PS4 saves to PS5 is going to be a developer-by-developer decision. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.